Hey Ringside crew. Welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe Panther III.
Hey, hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III. Oh God, I'm blinding you guys with the chromie. But man, Ringside crew, you are in for a treat. I have an awesome family. Everybody has an awesome family. Everybody has a Panther family, but I have a family that they love wrestling as much as I do. Introduce yourself to my internationally known audience.
Sure. I'll do it the way we open the show. I'm Josh.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Max.
And thank you so much for having us. I mean, we're thrilled to be here.
Awesome, guys. So, like, I'll start with Pops. Where did it start for you with professional wrestling?
Our story. I think it's probably the way it happens for a lot of people. I was exposed to it at an early age by my own father. And so now this sort of the cycle has continued. I grew up here in Philadelphia, so it was just WWF at the time. I can give a little bit of my own history. My first live experience was at the old Philadelphia Spectrum the night they had the turnaway crowd for Bruno against Billy Graham. As a teenager, it was the old Philadelphia Civic Center. I love talking about seeing wrestling in buildings that have been torn down. For Crockett. And it's just something that I've really just enjoyed for most of my life. And now, to be able to have to continue and be lucky enough not only to just enjoy watching wrestling with my two sons, but what's happened since with our show and because of Suplex, I'll say it right up front. I'm a lucky guy.
It's so cool because it's so cool to see a family like working together to do a show. Like my dad, Papa Panther, like he every once in a while he'll come in, he'll interview with me with wrestling, but like he knows I know more about it than he does because he was the son of the wrestler. But like he can see how the wrestlers really like they listen to me and they hear my questions and they're like, wow. So now the questions are going to either of the boys. What was your first match that you ever saw with your dad, or just like when he was like watching the shows or watching a Raw or SmackDown? What was the first match either you saw that you were like, oh my God, I love this?
Yeah, you can go really old. You can go first. You started
So
first.
one night, I feel like my dad was watching like an AEW Dynamite. I believe it was the Lucha Bros against Jurassic Express for the AEW Tag Team titles. And seeing a giant dinosaur flipping around and giving somebody a Canadian destroyer into a table, obviously that's going to attract a child.
Yeah, his first, I can verify, his first, what really, with the Jurassic Express, with the wrestling dinosaur and the young guy with crazy hair, that was it for him.
And now it's snowballed into more, like, my knowledge, I feel like, would be pretty good now. Like,
oh, yeah, well, that's what makes it work. Is it, now you know what you're talking about. How about you?
I can't remember a certain match, but I do remember us begging my father to watch the first Blood and Guts when I was like 6.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've grown to become a pretty permissive parent when it comes to pro wrestling. That's right. They wanted to watch that real bad. So,
yeah.
No, the thing that one of the things I find kind of funny is there was no guarantee that I was going to show this to them and that they were going to like it. They could have said, like, this is silly. I'm not, but that they've taken to it, and enjoy it as I do to the, and everything that's happened because of it. Again, it's remarkable. And they're good. And, fortunately they're good talkers. So, credit to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys ever did you ever show the kids any of the older stuff, like the early 90s or like the 80s stuff that happened with like before they were born?
You watch YouTube videos all the time.
I actually did like a YouTube video where I had to watch like a whole thing on Cactus Shack. I watched all the way to his debut against Kamala. Was it called? Yeah. And,
when he was Jack Foley.
Jack Foley. to all the way to his when he got branded by Terry Funk. So Roman, okay. So
Yeah, correction.
I would say my brother here had like a whole series of him watching old matches.
Oh yeah.
That's true. We did. Go ahead. You explain it.
So we did like a thing where I would review and watch an older match with a newer, standpoint on the match. I watched the Montreal Screwjob. I watched
Hell in a Cell.
Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels in a ladder match. I watched Hell in a Cell with
Undertaker and Mick.
Yeah, Undertaker and Mick. What else did I watch?
Oh, you watched Guerrero and Malenko from
yeah.
UCW Arena.
Didn't I watch
Mysterio and Eddie?
Yeah, I watched.
Oh, right, Halloween Havoc.
That's a good one.
Yeah, they've been exposed to some older stuff.
The one that I have most people do have Peacock. Some people don't have Peacock, but I go back and I've been watching like Superstars from the very first episode in '93 up to now. And every time a pay-per-view comes up, I go on Peacock and I'll go on there and I'll watch the pay-per-view because Superstars for me and your dad. That was like the build-up for every pay-per-view up to then. So there was no SmackDown. There was only Superstars. So like, up for me right now, I'm watching. I'm up to the King of the Ring of 1994. I don't know if you ever showed them that one yet. That's when Owen was in it.
Oh yeah. That was the year he won.
Yeah. So you guys are with the store from Philadelphia. Like, what does it feel like to be working with them? That store is like iconic. They have so much stuff in that store. Like, do you ever get lost walking around there looking at all the old
our producer's standing off camera and he is smiling and nodding his head.
Like we're
in appreciation for that shout out.
We're in the back right now.
Yeah, we're actually doing the show in their storeroom in the back of the store.
And there's just merchandise everywhere.
Yeah.
TNA,
it's
the 24/7 championship signed by Luncher Blaze.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
merch everywhere.
Yeah. It's kind of as overwhelming.
I'd get lost in there.
It's a great place.
They went from like a smaller location too, didn't they? I've been watching the build up to when they were in a different place to the new place.
It's a funny thing when we found out about the Suplex's existence. We were just walking on South Street in Philadelphia, and another store had what was it? A home?
A giant. Oh my God, the Iron Sheik is here. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Just as an aside, just to show you how anything can happen here at this store. Apparently, out on the showroom floor right now, our AEW official Bryce Remsburg and someone dressed up as the Iron Sheik.
Oh wow!
So this place is wild.
We had the Sandman.
We've
John
met.
Morrison.
Just as an aside, like we've met. We were here one time randomly. The Sandman walked in.
Wow!
And it actually took a. Look, I'm just telling stories now. But we've got to meet Daniel Garcia here. We got to meet Wheeler Yuta here.
The Sandman, Joey Janela. Not Joey Janela. Jimmy Lloyd. Max's favorite.
I loved ECW. Loved it. So the idea that all of these years later, the Sandman would film a promo for a podcast that I do with my two children, holding the Singapore cane up against them, like it's like the wildest thing ever. Like it blows my mind. But somebody just kind of, we saw, was it a Hogan t-shirt?
No, it was a giant, like this big Hogan action figure wearing like merchandise from the store.
In another store. And we walked past and one of the kids said something about it. And somebody outside the store just randomly said, if you guys like wrestling, go to Fifth Street and turn right. There's a wrestling store there, which somehow I didn't know about. And we walked in, and it was a much smaller space than they are now, but it was like all this vintage wrestling merch and video games.
Belts.
And, it became some place where we would just go. And the ownership took a liking to us, especially to the boys. and found them so entertaining that the next thing you know, they're offering us our own podcast. It was just it's just blind. And then they've since now moved to the current location on the 600 block of South, which is much bigger. But no, it's an amazing place. And again, you never know who might walk through that door.
Yeah.
Is Iron Sheik still here?
Is Shiki? Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
and they're the nicest guys.
Are we gonna send
They are
Shiki
the
in
nice.
here?
They are just the nicest
It'd be
guys.
funny.
Anybody that's watching this from out of town, if you're visiting Philadelphia, you really have to visit. What's the address, Roman? 628 South Street.
Yes. I have people that come on my podcast from England, Scotland, and I've told the British wrestlers about the store. I've told them to come by, like if they have an 8x10 in their bag, to give them an 8x10 so they can hang it on their wall because they're wrestlers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get their name known in the States. Like,
oh yeah. Oh no, indie. You know, there any number of local indie wrestlers are sort of friends of the store. I mean, there's one guy we've met multiple times who's sort of, I guess, for one of a better term, been an extra on AEW a couple of times.
Sean.
His name, what's his name?
Sean Smith.
Sean Smith. A shout out to Sean. He's a nice guy. One time he was, black shirt security, and another time he got, was it Swerve that beat him up?
No, it was
it was right. It was the Hurt Syndicate beat him up in the back.
And then
but it's just a great place, and they're the nicest guys, and again, I'm a lucky guy. They just took a liking to my kids and found them really funny and entertaining. And about a year ago, like, let's try and do this. And we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary, and we get to celebrate that with you and your viewers. It's just, I consider myself really lucky because it's just so much fun.
So what kind of equipment do you guys use when you do your show?
Really, most of the time, our producer sets us up. I'm not a technical person, but I can explain this in layman's terms. He has sort of a contraption where he puts three iPhones in. One's pointed at each of us, with a microphone stand, and we just go. Now that's kind of changed a little bit now. They've changed how they want it more like how we're arranged now. So it's become more of a 1 camera shoot than a 3 camera shoot. But yeah, it's, and look, fortunately, that's the other thing. Like, this is not anything I ever would have been able to do myself. I'm just not technologically savvy enough to have, ever said, "Hey guys, let's do a podcast." But we have Roman here, who's just off camera, who's also a great guy. And, just all we have, we just show up. As long as I do my prep work and I know what we want to talk about, he points at us and we go.
Yeah. I just, one of your sons was doing like give me any ideas matches to watch. Definitely go on YouTube and look up Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect from SummerSlam 91.
Well, that is a good one.
Oh,
yes.
Oh my god, beginning to end.
That's a good one.
Oh, at the end, I'm not gonna say spoil the ending. Everybody knows the ending. If you're a wrestling fan, you know the ending. It's always how it goes.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Although I have to say, for some reason, Bret Hart has become the object of ridicule on our show, thanks to these two, especially this one.
No, it's not that. It's just how people just keep complaining about Goldberg for some reason. It's like Goldberg gets so much hate.
I guess you don't want to have Goldberg next to Bret in any picture. Because,
time has not healed that wound, apparently.
I can go into so many.
My friend said that. I was like, geez, it's been how long, Bret? Gosh, man.
It's been a long time.
You can't just get over it.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of people that can't go over things that they set their feet in. Yeah. So, have you guys ever gone to any independent local shows in Philadelphia?
Yes, we've.
Go ahead.
We've done labor. We've gone to Labor of Love. We've been. We're going. We went to the SVW WrestleMania block party, which had people like Joey Janela, Nick Wayne,
Marcus Mathers,
Teriyaki.
I love Teriyaki.
Greatest independent wrestler ever.
Yeah, we had. Yeah, last year
Jimmy Lloyd.
last year around WrestleMania, the Labor of Love promotion did a show actually not far from where they go to school, and the promotion is sort of I guess it's run by the world famous Cheeseburger.
Oh, I'm a cheeseburger.
And at the end of the, go ahead, tell your story.
Oh, so I made like a sign out of cardboard about Cheeseburger, and I bet my father's a photo, but he gave me. I got to wear the hat during the match, and then at the end he invited me in the ring, and I got a photo.
And you had to get to hold the Labor of
Yeah,
Love.
I got
Yeah,
the title.
that night he won the citywide title, and
You can tell about the old story about Paul
and
London.
he grabbed Max, put him in the ring, put the belt over his shoulder. What a nice guy. So shout out to Cheeseburger.
That's not the only thing that happened with Max at this show.
What else? Oh yeah, what was that guy's name?
Paul London called me sweetheart.
No, that's not what I meant.
You
Well, that's what
pumpkin.
That other guy.
He called me pumpkin. And then
Shots
Oh,
Steve
yeah.
and Bailey.
he called me pumpkin. And then there was another
I
dude.
forgot
He
about
did
that.
something.
You know, he said, "This
Pumpkin.
is for you, pumpkin." Then shots Steve on like Bailey.
I forgot. Wait, what about that other guy? Put you on shoulders. What was that other guy? Dan Champion.
Yeah, Dan
Right.
Champion.
He was like the star of the show, which featured Cheeseburger and Speedball Mike Bailey and Paul. Yeah, and you got to chat up Paul London,
Yes, I did.
who was also a really nice
Yes, I
guy.
did.
So that was a lot of fun. And then, so we go to shows. I mean, we were just at SmackDown last night.
Oh wow! It wasn't Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what was? Yeah, let's talk about that. What'd you think about being at a SmackDown? If you have ever been to a SmackDown live before? Or
We
did you
have
always watch it
never.
online?
This was our first. We're more. Oh, well, I should say. Wait. I prefer AEW and we've been to.
3 of their shows.
The times AEW has been here, we've gone. This was our first WWE experience last night. So why? Yeah, go ahead. You go first.
Oh, it was different. Definitely different from AEW. There were more people.
Yeah.
It was a different building, so maybe that helped. Maybe that
well,
was different.
and it was full.
Yeah,
They filled. I'll give
yeah,
them
yeah.
that. They filled the place.
Yeah, WWE fills their.
Yeah,
Don't
that
trust
place
me.
was full.
WWE they know how to fill their arenas. It's so weird.
Yeah,
It's like
was
we're about to have free candy, and Tiffany's gonna have one shirt on. What? We're going.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell them what you thought.
The show was good. I liked how it was like there were not a lot of breaks. They kept everything moving, and then there were a few like pre-speed matches that we got to see before the show started. We got to see Cody, Randy, LA Knight.
Got to see the title change.
Oh yeah, we got to see the title change.
I felt like that audience was into like mostly everything. Like they were singing voices like during Randy's entrance. The atmosphere was very excited. They were chanting. A lot of people like yeah. They did it's like the atmosphere is like a lot different than like AEW show because like those people chant like this is awesome, but like that like those people were hyped for anything or mostly anything.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to a WWE show in years. I'll give them this: the production's outstanding. I mean, with the way they run that show with the lights and the music and
Pyrotechnics.
all the it's outstanding. But it's that and they did fill the place and people were into it. But those people were there to see the stars.
Oh yeah.
That's sort of the way it seemed to me. They, one of my takeaways from it was like, you want to be on that show first because what they do right before they were about to go live at 8:00, they dim the lights and they show this really good like hype video of like highlights through the years and to get people even more excited than they already are. So then they go live. They put Megan Thee Stallion on. They go live at 8:00, and now these people are ready to see something. And Randy Orton walks out. I mean, I know he's got legendary status in that company, but oh my goodness, were these people excited to see him? I mean, it was far exceeded anything I would have thought. So I was like, he's lucky to have gone on first. I mean, for me personally, their show, and it's a long show for the 3 hours. I mean, they do the sizzle great. I'm more into the steak, and none of the matches were, nothing was bad on the show, but I wasn't, blown away by
We'd like to see
anything.
Braun Strowman get beat up by Jacob Fatu.
But so we're also gonna be at Dynasty when it's here next month.
We're also gonna be at for Independent show. We're going to Slamboree, Suplex Slamboree.
Oh yeah, can we plug it? What's the date?
April 12th.
Speaking of indie wrestling, if I may just throw in a plug here, for the second year in a row, our friends here at Suplex are going to be throwing a block party on the 600 block of South Street, where they set up a ring in the street and they put matches on.
Drew Gulak's gonna be there. Griffin McCoy.
Sean Smith's going to work that show. It's free. It's we were there last year. I think it's going to be a little bit different because last year was during WrestleMania weekend, so it was a huge success. And that's again, you had Nick Wayne was on that show and Joey Janela,
And Jimmy Lloyd.
but we're going to be there, and I'm sure it's going to be a good time. So again, April, what is it, Roman?
April 12th.
April the 12th.
Wow,
On the 600 block of South Street. If you can get down there, come down. You can see some wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, going through the years, I'm 41. I remember going to Madison Square Garden to see wrestling and stuff like that. Have you ever brought your boys to New York City to show them the Garden and stuff like that yet?
We haven't seen any shows outside of Philly. I mean, the kids like New York, so they've seen Madison Square Garden from the outside, but we have not. I've only been to the Garden myself twice, and both times it was for concerts. So I've never seen wrestling there, but we get look, it's nice that we between what Suplex does and AEW being here, which we really enjoy so much, and we get our fill of live wrestling.
So when it comes to Suplex, and this is the guy that's on the guy hiding in the corner, like since a person like me that lives out of the Philadelphia area, that lives in PA, that lives like in the Poconos, if I wanted to get a T-shirt, if I wanted like throwing a random dart at a wall, like a Launder Blaze T-shirt from like the 90s, would they be able to have that and find that T-shirt, or like a Texas Tornado one?
You can have our website, shopsvw.com.
SvW.com.
Here comes another plug. Shopsvw.com.
Yeah, okay.
I will say this: they have racks of old T-shirts.
Yes.
So
if
I would think, most people that you might be for whom you might be looking for merch, if they don't have it, I think either it's not out there or they can find it from somewhere. But they have multiple racks of just old T-shirts.
Do they have indie wrestlers T-shirts too, or no?
They have
everything.
Yeah, if it's wrestling, if it's vintage wrestling related, they either have it or can probably find it from somewhere.
Okay. I know I would say, oh, let's go to the front and show the belt, but there's something going on the floor. I've been ogling the page and I look at the belts. I'm like, how many different selections of like main title belts do they have there?
Like there's like a giant wall.
Yeah.
As soon as you come in of like 15
Yeah,
of something like 15-ish, 20.
Yeah, we're running a little low right now, but usually.
When you
like the spinner belt,
AEW
World Championship, ECW World Championship, modern day WWE World Championship.
Yeah, when you walk in the store, if you look to your left,
big
it's
gold
just
belt,
all the replica belts on display. It's like one of the first things you see.
Yeah, when I remember watching WrestleMania weekend. They showed something and the person came into the store, one of the fans, and they showed the wall. He's like, oh, there's the wall. And then they just showed the whole wall
Of the action figures.
I was like, oh my
god.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's like floor. Is it floor to ceiling?
Yes.
I mean, it's a lot. I mean, again, it's stuff. Just one day, we were at the time we were doing the podcast on one of the upper floors of the store, and this was in the dead of winter, and it's cold, and it was cold. So they had something on display, and I was like, I'm doing this. So I ran down, I grabbed it, and I did the show, partially for warmth and just because I wanted to wear it, in a Ribera Steakhouse jacket.
Oh, jeez.
And it was huge on me. So the mind wanders as to like, nobody could give the origin story, but just to be able to have that on, knowing the history of that place was, I mean, I'm showing myself to just kind of I'm like having a geek out wrestling moment, but it was awesome.
It's okay.
Like,
we all have that. I do that all.
I remember seeing pictures in the wrestling magazines when, these guys would go do their Japan tours and they would be there, or then they'd all have the jacket.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they even have to me, if you have that, you can get your hands on anything.
Yeah. The it's just crazy to think that there's so many different little places to go to for wrestling stuff, but that store is like the king. Like, you can't go anywhere else to say, oh, I'm going to get my wrestling t-shirts from here. I know a lot of people that say, if you're from the Philadelphia area, please don't go to www.com to get your t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Go to you guys.
Yeah.
Because they got everything.
I can't imagine any place quite like this with the amount of stuff that these guys have managed to compile. And look, credit to them. Now they're expanding. They opened up a second location in Orlando. So look, we I feel lucky to be part of this sort of extended suplex family. But again, it's an amazing place.
It's a gem. It's a real gem. And I've told like British wrestlers, if you're ever in Philly, you should go there. They're like, oh, maybe I should stop by.
Oh, yeah. Again,
go talk to them. And I'm like, yeah, just go say hi.
People just show up. I mean, I know NXT was in town, like a month or so ago?
Yes.
People just showed up.
Ethan Page.
Was he? Oh, Ethan Page was here?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
You had one time you had Matt Cardona and Brian Myers for action figures.
Last year around WrestleMania.
Mark Henry.
Last year around WrestleMania was really just it was unbelievable.
John Morrison.
The amount of people that just showed up at the store. Yeah, unfortunately we missed Takeshita. That would have been cool.
Almost all the NXT wrestlers.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, I know that when people people in the business, when they're in town, I really mean this. Like, you never know who you're going to run into here.
Has Bret Hart showed up yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. But we
fun interaction.
We like to send this thing down to the universe. So Bret, if this reaches you, and you're in Philadelphia, please come.
Bret, if you come there and tell me you'll be there, and I want to do a short interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll totally accept you with open arms.
Absolutely.
Bret.
Forget all that stuff that Sam and Max have said about you. Right?
Let him before he does the interview with you, and have him just watch it, and then he's gonna do to you what he did to Vince McMahon in that hallway.
They know that story, and I want no part of that.
He's just gonna shove you into the wall.
Oh yeah,
the shower. I'm gonna knock you out.
That's what he said. That is what he said.
Then your little brothers are like, my brother just got beat up. It's like he got punched.
Here's a shoot. He would rat Sam out in a second.
Right? I can see him doing the old commercial, Brett. And then he runs up to him and goes, do you know what my brother said about you? He called you. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. That is undoubtedly true.
The door opens and Brett's walking in, and you're like, you're screwed. And then you just run up to him. You know what he said about you?
Right. You know how Bianca did the thing with Jade last night? Yeah. That would be me to Bret Hart, pointing him in your direction.
It's like,
I'm good. I don't want the smoke.
You don't want the sharpshooter then? You don't want to be like
around that good anymore.
Would you let him put you in sharpshooter?
Oh, I've made several invitations for people to come in and chop my father.
Oh yeah, they love the idea of people doing violence to me. I believe at one time, who were you begging? Danielson?
Danielson.
Yeah, at one point they like put
Katsuro
out.
Shibata.
Oh yeah, Katsuro Shibata or Danielson
Did
to
I
chop
ask
me.
the Sandman to do that?
I don't believe you actually asked him to hit me with a Singapore cane.
I think I did.
Did
I
you?
almost got Seymour caned by Sandman, but he didn't finish the job. Sandman.
Yeah, I would pass on.
No, I feel like
That would be
did
a
this.
hard pass.
He did this. He went back on me, and I was like, ugh. He was like coming flying at me like this, and I was like this, and I sat down.
So you would not take the sharpshooter?
Oh no.
No. How about you?
He's old. He can't move around like he used to.
None of us can.
I can.
I watched how Owen did it. Owen, you know, Brett like just turns it like this. Owen used to stick his knuckles under the knee.
Ooh.
He did, yeah, under the knee, because I was watching this when he beat 1-2-3 Kid to qualify through in the last round of the King of the Ring. He had his knuckles under the knee, and he had his and he's like woohoo, and I was just like, that sounds like it hurts even worse because his knuckles are under your knee. Like,
yeah,
still wrestling, but still.
That's another one. You didn't. Did you do any throwbacks with Owen? Actually, if we do throwback, Brett versus Owen.
Oh yeah, WrestleMania, right?
WrestleMania. That was that was oh yeah.
WrestleMania you guys should watch is the full WrestleMania 10 from Madison Square Garden one. That was really good.
Yeah, well, he did watch Shawn against Razor in the ladder match. So he did review that. But yeah, we should. That's on the list. Brett versus Owen. That was
well. During that King of the Ring, they had Diesel versus Brett, and it was a good match. There was a lot of side chatter between Shawn Michaels and Jim the Anvil. So it was like Shawn would be like, "Ooh, you can't catch me. I'm faster than you." Ooh. And then he'd walk around the ring, and the Shawn Michaels, he'll look at the camera like, and then he'll turn around and run the other direction. And the Anvil's like, "Hey, I got you." And then he'd miss him. It was just like 90s wrestling. So much side Warner Brothers cartooning.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just...
That's what it reminded me of. Like when Shawn Michaels would come out to the ring, he'd be like
oh yeah, doing his dance.
Doing the dance. Yeah.
He does that little his side shimmy, and then he'll like this, flip his hair, and go.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else. What else I want to. Oh, with what are your feelings now that John Cena is no longer that sweet, bubbly, happy, just gentleman anymore? He's a bad guy. What is it? What are your feelings on that?
What's on Cena?
I thought it was a good idea. I just have one question still. Why was Travis Scott there? Still don't know.
Yeah.
I have two things to say. What's gonna happen with R-Truth? And with all those Make-A-Wish kids, is he just not gonna do it anymore?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because when John Cena goes character, he goes all in.
Yeah, well, apparently, you know.
So would John just not do Make-A-Wishes anymore?
We talked about this a lot on this week's podcast. I said, you know, it's the most. I mean, you know, I wonder if you agree with me. I mean, I think it's the most memorable heel turn I feel like since Bash at the Beach. I mean, I give them. I mean, they executed it really well, and nobody saw that one coming. I just, you know,
still there.
I was wondering. I had two questions after it was over. One was, has Cena reached the stage in his career where people just aren't going to boo him? Based on what we observed last night, because they played those clips like over and over again.
7 times I was counting.
People will boo.
Why do they keep like? When is he coming back with The Rock?
Exactly.
They opened the show. They played multiple times, you know, including like a full thing to lead into when Cody came out and cut his promo.
I can remember.
So that crowd was, you know, based on what we saw last night, people will boo John Cena.
Oh yeah.
But then the other question that I had was, he's only got, you know, however 30 some dates left. is he going out as heel John Cena, or is something else going to happen to flip this around before what is the actual retirement?
I said this before. Maybe being the Rock's champion is not is a little more weirder than we think. I mean, like,
well,
all the bells, the sizzle's good, but the real steak.
Well, apparently he now owns John Cena's soul.
Could be something.
Which I still don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Max was saying that, like you could just go, you could have just said, whatever.
Yeah, you can have my soul. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm just going to go back to the hotel, with my belt. Do whatever you want with my soul.
I would have been like a total heel. I would have came out with a piece of paper folded in an envelope and said, here. And he said, open it now. And it's a thing, it's a little streamers inside of it. And then the paper says soul. Here, you have my soul. That's how much
episode.
But Sam had the idea, and he kind of mentioned it, and he's right. Like, at some point between now and WrestleMania, R-Truth's going to have to get a beat down.
Oh yeah.
And and the other thing is, I think it is a testament to the professionalism of Cody Rhodes that there was not a problem in the back with him and Travis Scott after what went down with that, because that was ridiculous.
I heard what happened. I heard he broke his eye socket.
He came out. I mean, he came out last night. He looked all busted up. His black eye. Apparently, I heard busted eardrum. But as they say, Travis Scott's got a receipt coming. I mean, that was not so good. But I will say, I thought Cody's promo last night was one of the highlights.
Oh yeah,
he was real. He actually, he was really good. We'll see. I mean, I wonder. I also wonder if Cena at this point in his life is, prepared to work a match that's worthy of a WrestleMania main event. But I wonder if I almost wonder, like, emotions are going to be so high, it might almost be. Almost like a Hogan and Rock situation where they don't have to put on the greatest match in the world and people are just going to be into it anyway.
It may not really matter if the match is good or not. It's just
right, because it's interesting. I mean, none of us saw it coming. I mean, we watched a lot of we watched a lot of Elimination here, but we didn't make it to the end. And then we woke up Sunday morning and we're like, we were like everybody else.
Yeah, just a little like. 8 hours later.
Yeah, just a little bit on a time delay.
Yeah. I did Special Olympics and I woke up and my friend's like, what's up? But I was just checking my wrestling news as I do every day. And I went, oh my God. My buddy's like, what? We're in the hotel room. And I was like, what's wrong, Joe? What happened on Saturday? Because we didn't get Peacock in the hotel room. And I was like, I'm sitting there like, he's like, what's wrong? You're right. I said, John Cena turned heel. What is this life? I was like, oh my God.
I mean, it was a news story. Their mother who is not a wrestling fan actually texted me a link to a story from a news website that had this as a news story.
Wow. Well, when you've been doing that consistently for 20 years.
Yeah.
And been doing, I feel like it has to be big when you.
Oh yeah. Look again. It was in wrestling,
become a bad guy.
Within the world of wrestling, I can't imagine something much bigger than that. I mean, they issues with Dwayne and is he Satan aside, they executed it really, really well. They did it, and Travis Scott having no business in a wrestling ring. We'll put that.
I don't know if you know this, but I saw on Instagram. It's Instagram chatter. But apparently WWE took a copyright out for Break-A-Wish.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, I saw. I don't know how true it is. I don't know if it's a joke.
That's true. Then they're going all in on this.
Yes. So he's going to be breaking wishes, like with the kids that are like, I don't know if he's really going to do it or it's just going to be like a fake wrestler dressed as a younger looking wrestler that they're gonna make him look like he's in the hospital and he's gonna mess him up. Like,
wow, no,
yeah, Mr. John.
No,
Did you ever see that video on Instagram, guys, with this guy doing like a one-man show pretending he's Cena, and then he's a little kid on his knees, and he's like, oh, this kid's your one last person. And he's like, is he? He's like, yeah. And then the kid's like, kid, get over yourself. And he's like, oh my God, John Cena, no.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
I have not seen that.
No, I do not think I've seen.
I gotta find that one. I have to send it to you guys on Instagram. It's just so bad. I'm like, oh my God. It's like your dad realized this. To the kids now, this is like when Hogan turned heel when NWO.
Yeah.
This is just like that.
That's the only thing. Even with Austin, I think there was a sense that something might be happening.
Yeah.
The Hogan thing is the only thing I can compare it to.
You can't really say it too much.
And that goes back a long time now.
Because some people in a small section of the wrestling world kind of relate to the Shawn Michaels turn on Marty.
Yeah, that was
really because.
But at the time, Shawn, it would happen eventually. But at the time, Shawn was not at the level that Cena is.
Yeah.
I mean, this was.
But he was kind of hurt. I don't know if you remember that. John Cena was hurt. Yeah, Shawn Michaels got hurt against one of the Powers of Pain guys. I think it was Warlord or Hercules. Hercules. He got hurt. He got hurt during one of the matches, and he was gone for a while. And then I think he came back, and they weren't the same. They were clashing and arguing during matches. Shawn didn't come in to stop.
Yeah,
the
you
count.
definitely sensed that a turn was. There had been friction between the two of them before that happened. I mean, this, nobody was thinking that this was, coming in, and that look. Did
you guys watch any of the reaction videos on when the parents
they showed some of them last night at SmackDown? That was one of the videos that they showed were people's reactions to this.
The one girl that they showed, the blonde, I always watch her on Instagram. She's on YouTube. She's so good. Blonde. I can't remember her full name. It's Blonde something, but she's so funny, and she goes on Twitch like I do, like we are right now. And I think she only does stuff on YouTube and Twitch, but Facebook is always cool because we're on Facebook right now also. Guys, so have you guys, you said you guys have only done stuff in Philadelphia. Have you guys ever thought of traveling out of the country to like see wrestling and stuff like that?
I mean, we're open to possibilities as they arise. It's not anything that's ever, really taken the stages of planning, but who knows? I mean,
because if things have happened.
Yeah. I mean, as long as, they stay fans, and if it goes down with them the same way that it did with me, that I just stayed with me all this time, I absolutely could see us, combining some sort of trip. And I mean, it's not like he doesn't ask all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you've asked, you asked about Arlington.
Yeah.
We'll see where, where the future takes us.
Yeah.
I get that. So another thing with your kids liking wrestling, have you guys ever thought of being trained and actually trying to become a wrestler, or is that too long?
So many conversations with my father about this. I want actually him to get in the ring.
Are you nuts?
I told him, I asked him, how much money would it take for you to get in the ring, and he still won't get back to me.
Listen to me, brother.
If we get Cheeseburger will train you. You can go to a wrestling gym.
At this stage in my life, I'm not interested in learning how to take bumps. I don't know that these two have the genetics for that.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
I think like 50 short wrestlers off the top of my mind.
Look, now. They have their own pursuits. This one plays soccer. This one swims.
Cool.
Besides how their mother would react to that thought, which would not,
I get blackballed. Never talk to my kids again.
My personal hope is that what the three of us being able to do things like this and watch it and go to shows, I hope that is something that last for a really, really long
And
time.
hopefully we can get in the ring
'Cause
eventually.
It's so much fun, and B, it doesn't involve me being dropped on my head
Hey, I could do
or
a better,
chopped.
I could do a better spear than Big Justice did. So listen,
Again,
I could do better.
Big Justice also, again, he's gonna,
He brings the boom.
We'll see how that. We'll see. We'll see how that goes for him. I mean, it's I think it's a little early for AJ to start talking about an 11 for an 11-year-old talking about being the AEW World Champion someday.
Hey, don't you guys remember that WWE actually crowned a young tag team champion with
with Brawny the Strowman.
Yes, and Nicholas.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do remember.
Actually,
that.
your son has the look like Nicholas. He has that hairstyle, the same hairstyle as Nicholas.
That.
You can cosplay as Nicholas. Oh my god. You can have him with the red title on his shoulder. He could be Nicholas for Halloween.
The old Raw Tag Team Championship.
My hope is that we keep the podcast going and then it takes off and then we just that is our connection to the wrestling business.
Do you guys have any dream guests? Like, do you ever want to have on the show?
Go ahead.
I've actually listed. I would like to do an interview with MJF.
That's his hero.
Yeah. I would like to do one with Joe Hendry.
Yeah, you do like Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
Because you have to say his name and he'll appear.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
And what was last one? Oh, this is like groovy, man.
Nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, see, you just say it and then an MJF action figure appears.
Hey, MJF.
Dream guess.
You thought Joe Henry was gonna pop up, didn't you? You looked up again. You thought Joe Henry's.
And the big one would be like someone like Austin.
Yeah.
If I could go to Broken Skull Ranch.
Oh, you want to do the interview on the ranch?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I would travel for that.
That's a Texas trip right there.
Oh yeah, I would travel for that.
Arlington and then the Broken Skull Ranch. It's already planned. Yeah.
Hang out with him and all his cats.
To say yes.
How about you? We've never talked about this. If we could have anybody.
Ooh, that's tough.
There's a lot of good ones.
Like Brian Danielson, just to hear everything,
Yeah.
that he's done.
I'll take it. Wow. I'm surprised you didn't say this person. Just based on, I think that, being the number of stories they would have, and I think he would respond well to us. I'd love that Mick on. Oh, Paulie. Yeah. Paulie would be great. Yeah. Paulie would be a really good one.
Well, Mick does have a relation with the store.
That's true. But yeah, we're Mick would be good if somehow that were ever to happen, or and Heyman, because
I was about to say, Paul Heyman.
He's worked everywhere.
Yeah.
Between
ECW, WWE.
Look,
Memphis.
I'd want to start asking Heyman about Memphis and Jerry Lawler and shaving his head in the riot. So, there'd be
what?
When they did the thing in Memphis where it was Austin Idol against Lawler in a cage, hair versus hair. Austin Idol was managed by Paulie at the time. Tommy Rich came out from under the ring, attacked Lawler. They beat him. They shaved his head, and those people in Memphis, they barely made it out of the Mid-South Coliseum. You have to find that on YouTube.
I gotta find that. Oh my god!
It was I think it was in the late '80s, early '90s. But King did get his head shaved, but Tommy Rich, Austin Idol, and Paulie barely made it out of the Mid-South Coliseum alive. Those people were mad. Oh, you have to find that.
I'm gonna have to look. If you find that on YouTube, tell the boys to send me that on the Instagram
page.
It's
gotta be out there.
Yeah. So another thing, I have a small pop collection. I got my Rey Mysterio, my DiBiase, my Zack Ryder, and I got my Paul Heyman. So is there a collection? Is there a pop wall in the store also?
They do have pops. They have some.
Few.
They have a Cody. I remember They
Yeah, they have a
have.
few of them signed.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a like some of the who else they got a
They have an action figure sign, but I don't think they have pop
they
sign.
don't have any pop signs.
Like I have a pop version of a pop hurricane.
Don't they have a
Target.
Sting and Luger set out
Oh,
there?
yeah, they do.
They have Sting and Lex Luger as a set.
We had IRS and
Oh, an IRS and
$1 million
DiBiase.
Miracle.
They have an IRS.
Wait, they
and
have
DiBiase
them in one box?
in one box.
Wow, I've never
They have
seen
like
that
a
one.
WrestleMania with Austin, Rock, and Hogan. I don't know.
Yeah,
saw that
I know. Like as far as not they have some that are signed, but I know not signed outlets on the point. I know because I just noticed it the last time we were here was the Sting and Luger in one box and DiBiase and Rotundo as IRS in one box.
But not many people have this gem on their shelf. A Joe Panther the Third.
Oh,
nice.
nice.
And also the man that made me a wrestling fan, my grandfather, Jose Quinones.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
nice.
awesome.
My friend from North Carolina, she made me the one of my grandfather. I sat there crying for like 5 minutes, just
Oh,
talking to the pop like he was there. And my dad's like, "What are you talking to?" "Nothing, Dad. Wrestling related."
That's great.
But as being a podcaster for 4 years now, is there any kind of advice you guys have for me that I could any questions, any kind of questions for me, any kind of any advice you guys anything you have that you want to ask me? I've done this.
Advice-wise, we're more seeking than giving. I mean, we just I'll just say, people have told us, and I wonder if you agree, we just Sam especially has put a lot of work in to try and build an audience.
Yeah.
And and the advice is sort of just that he's gotten from others. Just keep grinding, and if you keep grinding, something will break through. But no, again, I'm just a fan, and through just a lucky
String of
events, I get to do this podcast with my kids. I can't say it enough. Like, I just consider myself to be so fortunate that the Suplex family saw something in us and thought that it would be, entertaining, and that I have my two kids who that are such good talkers and have good senses of humor, and so it's just so much fun that I just to the extent that I just hope that whoever sees it likes it. But
Yeah.
Sam really has worked hard at this, and I appreciate his efforts a lot. So we're just trying to build this thing up. But if again, I'm really lucky. I'm just really lucky.
I have a question.
And
go ahead.
I'm so honored to have you guys on. It is so cool to have a family that loves wrestling as much as I do. My crowd today is not really that big, and I'm shocked. It's just 4 people in the chat. But thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
This was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. Again, if anybody wants to find your podcast anywhere, where can they
Good plug.
Okay, Grappling with the Gilmans. We are on Spotify. We are on YouTube. We are on Apple Podcasts.
What's the Instagram?
Grappling with the Gilmans at Grappling with the Gilmans, one word.
Right.
Wherever you listen.
Suplex's Instagram is at svw.worldwide.
And SVW Orlando.
Yes.
If
So
you're in Orlando,
we record on Tuesdays.
upload
show
on
comes
Wednesday.
out
The show
Wednesdays.
drops on Wednesdays. We're going to be taking a little bit of a hiatus for the next couple of weeks because Sam's going to be on a school trip, an extended school trip. But we will be back in 3 weeks, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about. And if anybody out there hasn't listened to the show, give us a try. Again, I think I've had people who aren't even fans tell us that they think it's fun. So give us a try.
and they're good kids. They're good family. They're all really funny. I watch this stuff and I'm laughing at the kids because they're so funny, and it reminds me when I was a kid. Because seeing how I remember being a kid watching wrestling, and you have to have a thick skin when you're a wrestling fan because there's so many people trying to be hating on wrestling. Because don't hate on it, only hate it until you watch it. And if you don't like it, don't watch it. I like the art, like our shows. You don't like it, just keep scrolling on YouTube. Just tell a hot girl to watch it. That's okay. Again, check out the store in Philadelphia. It's a good place. His family is fantastic. I'm Joe Panther the Third.
We're Grappling with the Gilmans.
Yeah, we're the Gilmans.
And we will catch you in the next one.